Well, good afternoon and welcome to afternoon tea rather than the so-called morning coffee. I'm just trying to click here at any time to view the post on Restream.io. Okay. I'm using a whole new system for this, including a different audio interface, which could be problematic because all the audio interfaces I have are of the same make. They're made by the British company Focusrite. And I have two 18 input ones. One's a Thunderbolt. This is the one which does all the clicky noises. This one is my really old one. It's a Firewire 400 one, so it's going back a few years. So I'm using that one. But the one that we use on Sundays now is this one, which is just a 2-input one. And that works and is powered from USB. And I just got it on standby with a USB plug here, just in case this old beaten up thing does the clicky clicky. But we will see. Anyway, so what's going on? Well, what is going on is that after last Thursday's coffee half hour, let me remind myself what I was doing. Almost immediately after, when I checked my email, there was an email from the bishop saying that he changed his mind, and also that the whole thing had shifted so that he was allowing people to do the services with a lot of stipulations. And I read the letter, and then I contacted the vestry, and I said I'd come back with some ideas after having read the letter and thought about it and seen what's going on. And I decided that things still aren't in a place that I would feel comfortable in having more than 10 people in the church at the moment. I relayed this information to the parish, to the vestry, and they agreed. And so at the moment, St. Clement's is maintaining the services with just 10 people and live streaming. I have checked things out, and I can tell you that with my 6-foot measuring stick and doing all the social distancing, we will be able to get 44 people into the church, which is just about the 25% that the bishop mentioned. So that's when things look as if they're either flattening definitely, which they certainly don't seem to be at the moment, or on a downward trend. So things are improving. Now, I do know that some people will be disappointed in this, and I totally understand this because, I'm looking at a camera now, and it's okay because I know people are behind the camera watching it. For instance, Holly's just said, "Good afternoon, great time for tea." It certainly is. I've got my tea here. It's, what is it? Green ginger tea. It's rather nice. Thank you, Kit. Yes, I am following the science. And yes, safety is of the highest priority. I just don't understand these notions of economy over people's safety. Yes, the economy can be damaged and people will have a real hard time with that. But let me think. What if some of those people who love spending millions upon millions on adverts for, say, elections, actually put it into neighborhoods, put it into mom and pop businesses, put it in somewhere where it actually might do a good deal of good. Good deal of good. You know what I mean? Rather than, 90-second adverts that are multi-million dollars to do? I wonder what Jesus would say about that. Anyhow, yes, it is. This was bought for me. It's got Sagittarius on it. I'm left-handed, so it's kind of backwards. But it's really good, and it will kind of, it's a soothing tea. Bill is sneaking into the Facebook on Kit's account. Is he really? At least you know. Now, I've got these things popping up on my screen as well here, which has, what am I doing? Which finger's that? That's my left hand. There. Oh, it's just disappeared. So I don't know whether you can see them or not. Let me know if you see things popping up in the screen. I've also click here at any time to post on Restream. I don't know what I'm doing. So that's the first part of what's going on. We will be doing this continuation of the Sundays for at least the next 2 Sundays. And it is absolutely kind of bumming me out that we will miss being together for Pentecost, which is this coming Sunday. Which reminds me, I knew there was something else I had to sort of bring up. Get the word out. I'll try and remind myself to tell Margot and Jay that they need to send an email to the congregation regarding everyone having access to a candle and something to light it with for Sunday. This is going to be for right at the end of the service. We've done it for a few years now, which is the sending out of the Holy Spirit, we being the vessels of the Holy Spirit. And that happens when I extinguish the Paschal candle and you all light yours. And that is the signifier of Jesus is now amongst us. Jesus, the light of the world, as represented by the Paschal candle, is now amongst us, and we are filled with his Holy Spirit to go and do his work. So if you don't feel that safe with a real candle, one of those little battery things will be fine, or just those tiny tea candles that you can, you know what I mean. I do not want to hear horror stories of people setting fire to the neighborhoods. The Holy Spirit doesn't really work that way. It's our own, it's the fire that we provide through his strength with our lives. Sometimes with our words, but mostly with our lives. So how is everyone? If you'd like to give me a thumbs up or just make a comment as to what's going on, then I'll be able to tell. My apologies, by the way, to people on YouTube. This software I'm using is supposed to be able to send messages to both YouTube and Facebook, but it only seemed to send it to Facebook. But this is a beta version of the program, so it could be something that needs ironing out. I seem to think that my interface isn't freaking out, so we're doing okay. Oh, and there is something else, another something else, and that is I was told that the last Thursday's coffee half hour, my voice was quiet compared with the meditations. Now, there is a good reason why they would be quieter than the meditations, but I have messed around, and if you can let me know, is this a nice volume? Is it better than last Thursday? Let me know. Yes, I'm looking at some of the comments now. Rather not have services open than take any chances for your safety. Yeah, it's... Oh, Holly has a dog. Wow. Is this a foster dog to go along with the foster kittens? By the time this is all over, you're going to be one of those people who just arrives with cat and dog hair all over you, as if you're wearing it like a hair shirt. I can see this happening. So what's the dog called? The volume's fine. Great. Yes. Is this a rescue? Well, what's the point of asking? Because I know with you, Holly, it will be a rescue dog, puppy. give us the information. I am a dog person. I love cats. You saw me post a picture of a cat this morning. Old Zeffy. He was just lolling there, so I got my phone out, and he stayed put. And he was like, huh, you think I'm going to move because of a camera? Try me. That's cats for you. So come on, Holly. It doesn't take that long to give names, details. Type. Winston, when we went out for a walk yesterday, or this morning, in fact, one of his best buddies is Thunder. I think Thunder is one of those Labradoodles. Either that or it's one of the giant poodles. And he's about a year younger than Winston, but they are the best of pals. Excuse me. Anyhow, the family have two other dogs, two little wiener things, and they're both older, and they just bark at anything. One in particular, the oldest, barks like crazy, and is a bit antisocial because, well, it's an old dog. They kind of tend to be like that sometimes. It's like cranky old men. I wonder who I'm thinking about here. Anyway, continue with the subject. So there's Thunder with the other two dogs, and they're walking on the other side of the road, and Thunder's getting all antsy because he sees Winston, and Winston's going, ah. So we get this kind of whining chorus from the two of them. I think they were both complaining about their parents not letting them cross the road so they could have a meet and greet. Well, it's the wieners. I'm sorry, Winston. Oh. It's not a foster. Rufus. He's my son-in-law. Having trouble with the other dog at home. He is the cousin of my dog. Oh, wow. So it is a kind of rescue. It's just being rescued from an unhappy relationship with another dog. And Vicky's got a dog too called Bella. A beautiful Australian something, I think. So bunches of photos. And Bella is a good name for Winston because he doesn't have to remember when he's courting dogs other than Bella, who lives across the road. So he's interested in meeting Bella because she's a young thing, and he wants to meet her soon. Winston, you're terrible. Family, yeah. That's great. That's great. They get you out of the house. They make you socialize with other people. Although, again, you've got to be kind of careful because apparently dogs can get the coronavirus, although there's no evidence that they can transmit it to humans. But you really don't want to have your dog being infected. So, yeah, even when you're out with dogs, you just got to be careful. So it maybe is a good thing that Winston and Thunder didn't go bouncing around in each other. It's really curious, isn't it? Really curious. Now, I've not watched any news for a couple of days, so I'm not sure what's going on either in the state or with the CDC or any other science outlets that are doing all the research and the studies on any upcoming antivirals or what's going on in the country in terms of any uptick in the number of cases. I was not amazed yesterday, Sunday, when I saw the beaches packed out, people outside with drinks, people milling around in streets, no masks, no social distancing. I understand the need that people may have to socialize and be connected. That's one of the things about social media that I don't understand why it became so popular in terms of people claiming they have X million number of friends, when we are social creatures and we suddenly do find ourselves in need to be in close proximity, in touching distance. And this is an English person saying that, hello, how are you? We're about as far away as possible as we could possibly be anyway. But even that is required. People are now talking about the mental stress of being disconnected from people, and what that could do to people if we keep going with this social isolation. Now, there's got to be some kind of happy medium where we can actually behave ourselves without, and keep everybody safe, not just ourselves. And like some governor somewhere was talking about, please do not make masks a partisan issue. I don't have the words to, that somebody has to say that. Why wouldn't you want to protect other people? People like your family, people you don't know, people who are doing work that helps you get on with your life, like in the stores. I just don't get it. I really don't. It's really puzzling. It's not as if there's a shortage of masks now. They're pretty easy to get hold of. I just, the mind boggles as to what's going on in other people's heads. Oh yes, that was it. The governor of North Dakota. Yeah. I can't imagine anybody really wanting to harm anybody else. But then some people, it shifts. It's not first do no harm. It's to do with, but it affects my something. I don't know, my personal rights, my personal freedoms. It's a curious thing, a curious thing. And I feel sorry for those who have to grin and bear it in stores or even in parking lots. Sometimes I was watching the other day, I don't know which store it was, where this guy was getting all these shopping carts together. There was a lady getting all these shopping carts together. She's masked up. She's got gloves on. She's got this sanitizer stuff. And every time she grabs hold of a shopping cart, she wipes it down and then pushes it in, and there's a big load of them. And somebody came up to her, no mask, and just says, "Can I have one of those?" It was right next to her. May have been just one of those moments of forgetfulness, but you're wearing a mask, you're wearing gloves, you've got sanitizer and cloths, and you appear to be wiping something down. A few clues there. I don't know. 'Tis strange. Hi, Mike. Are you on Facebook or are you on YouTube? This is interesting. The software looks a bit different on my Mac Mini, which is a new to me one, because my other one, which was a 2011 model, so it really doesn't owe me anything, was on the way out. I think it'll still work if I install Boot Camp and Windows, so I'm going to try that. But this is a late 2014 new to me model, which is way faster. Can do some kind of 4K as if I need it, which I probably won't, and is running all of this without any, no fan running at all. So I'm quite happy with my purchase. And I also put 2 hard drives in it. This is why I got an old one rather than a new one, because with the old Apple gear, you can you can add memory, you can change the hard drives, you can even add another hard drive. And this one's got 2 1TB hard drives, SSDs. One of them being like the memory stick thing, not the plug-in ones. It's almost like a RAM stick. It's just ridiculous. So Apple, why have you stopped allowing people to upgrade their own machines? Get a grip. People in general seem, yeah, I don't know. It's on Facebook. Hi, Mike. You're on Facebook. So who is on YouTube? That's what I want to know. YouTube. It was good to be able to live stream on both channels on Sunday. It saved me a great deal of time after the service because I didn't have to prepare the video, log into YouTube, start uploading it. Then there's all this other stuff you've got to do. Is this video for children? No, it isn't. You have to click that. You have to add tags. You've got to do a thumbnail, excuse me, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Just doing a live stream, none of that. It's really, really simple. And then you can go in afterwards and add all those things if you want. But for the most part, I just add a title, which does to both of them. And I like this. I like the innovations that the software is bringing. And also, this is running through my Canon camera, so I'm not even using the camcorder. This is going through a Canon EOS 80D. Sounds like I'm doing a bunch of advertising. Well, if Apple or Focusrite or Canon want to send anything to the church, and I know Canon do very, very good professional hardware in terms of professional cameras, movie cameras, just follow the links down and then just mail them directly. We will be happy. Mike on YouTube too. Okay, you should do it on phones. Two phones. One on your left eye with YouTube, say, and the other one with Facebook, and just see how weird it is. Do I come out in stereo? That'd be kind of scary. No, don't do that. No. Hi, Pam. How's the family doing? Appreciate all the efforts the St. Clement's video crew has been doing. Yes, yeah. I think Jay, who has the most difficult job, see, all I do is set it up and then make sure it's kind of running. And then it's up to Jay to actually switch it on. And then he does the panning and the zooming and then the pulling back. And so he has the hardest job. And then we learned our lesson when you press quit and to stop the whole thing, and then you have to press it again because it's one of those safety features. There's like a delay. So it's actually still running for a few seconds. The timing is not synced on the two. Yeah, that's why I was kind of say don't put, it would be really weird. Facebook on one eye and then YouTube on the other, and they're out of sync. Oh, that would be freaky. Did he really? Oh, wow. I should see. I've got I think I've got 3 cameras that would run now. Do you think I need to up the ante for Jay? Do you think he's getting too lazy? It's too easy for him now. Shall I add another camera, another 2 cameras, and they'll have to be running around focusing them all and everything? Nah, that's not fair. But it just goes to show when you actually watch these productions on from churches where they have the full system, the whole rig and everything, just how what's the word I'm looking for? How smooth, how much equipment you need for one thing. YouTube is in the lead. So it's not buffering as much as I probably because YouTube can handle up to 4K streaming. So their bandwidth is massive compared with YouTube. Um, I'm sending it out on 720 because that's the limit for YouTube. So yeah, it's interesting if you're into that kind of thing. So Buddy's on. Hey, Buddy. Hope all's going well with you. So I'm thinking about setting some other kind of Bible study or something that I can do, say, just once a week. To do something like those 15-minute meditations, it actually takes a good number of hours to put together. A lot of it's because I'm slow, because I'm just learning the technology. So I can't whiz my way through Final Cut Pro with a bunch of shortcuts. Another reason is because I'm pretty clueless. I don't know what I'm doing. So when it comes to editing, what am I looking for? It's not like I'm putting together a movie. It's just me with a mic and a camera, and I talk. So it does take some time, and it's quite tiring as well, just sitting looking at a monitor for hour upon hour upon hour. And the bit I liked the most was just doing the audio, excuse me, which is the reason why the audio on the meditations is different to the audio here. It's a lot louder, it's a lot more compressed, and I had to remove the sound of the air conditioning unit thing. I don't know whether you can hear it in the background. Maybe not. So, yes. So if you've got a subject you'd like me to talk about, it can be anything to do with Christianity, really. I'd like that, because obviously if you're interested in it, then it may be something that other people will be interested in, rather than me just choosing something and everybody's like, And then, yes, me getting all excited and doing a 54-minute video on something which is a 92-part series. I don't think that would go down too well. So if you've always thought, I wish I knew about that, or if there's some scripture and you thought, I wonder what that means, because it obviously doesn't mean what it says. You know, like the dashing of children on the heads, dashing the heads of children on the altars. You know, it's in the Bible, but it doesn't really mean what it says. And there's a whole bunch of things that are known as difficult scriptures. Whoa, somebody has... Hi, Anne. Okay. I shall read this now because I can't save these things when I will be able to see it though, because everybody else can see it. All right. Change your future topic into something heavier. Thoughts about the topic I would like. Oh yes, that's very interesting. Yes. A substantial number of believers think that COVID-19 is some sort of punishment from God. I spent time wondering about what it all means, although I have a hard time with the punishment idea. You're not on your own. Perhaps it's a lesson for us, but what? I have time to put down more ideas this afternoon and will email you. You do not mean to put you on the spot. That's okay. But thanks, Anne. That's really interesting. The Sermon on the Mount. Basic? Anne, I'm going with your subject. I can do both. Well, I can, yes, the COVID-19, I've been reading about one of the more popular evangelical preachers talking about this. And it's really interesting. We've kind of changed in how we approach our theology, and into this vengeful, punishing God, in it to see just what nature does and is like, and how that works with who we perceive God to be. So it shifted because we didn't know about atmospheric things and earthquakes and where they came from and hurricanes and stuff like that. We assumed it somehow is to do with God. And there's a whole bunch of preachers who still have this kind of Old Testament stroke Victorian notion of you're all going to burn in hell and this is proof of it. So yeah, I like the idea of that. I also like the idea of the Sermon on the Mount as well, because when I was a young sprog of a Christian and I heard the Sermon from the Mount the first time ever, it kind of terrified me. I was like, I can't do that. So I was thinking, well, I don't know. I had no thoughts. I was just terrified. So I went to my parish priest and I said, Father, Sermon on the Mount, that sermon just preached, we're not supposed to do it now, are we? It's an afterlife thing. It's what we will be and become once we get to meet Jesus and go to heaven, isn't it? And he said, no. And my heart sank. Blessed are the meek. What does my idea of meek, well, at least at that time, I'd never met anybody who is meek, even Christians. So I didn't know what it meant. All these things. Blessed, depending which book of the Bible you read, which gospel you read, we have just the blesseds. Then we also have the not so blessed version as well. So yes, that's really good, and they are pithy enough that you can just do one and one and one and one. So yeah, I can do that. That will be really interesting. Thanks, Kit. Thanks, Anne. Yeah, and as with all things, Scripture proves Scripture. So it won't be just me gassing on about something. It will be me going into Scripture, into culture and the context, and we'll be working on that. So thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I've just been getting texts from Vicky, who's probably at work, about the new dog. I texted her earlier on to say, to ask her. Winston says they have to meet. This is Vicky's new dog. She needs to get shots first, and more confidence. Well, I'm sure Winston would want to aid her in her confidence, as he sort of only needs to remember one name now, Bella. I mean, Nona from next door is just not in the picture anymore. He is, what's the word? If it were a man, what would you call him? I can't think of the word now. It's kind of really, he's a rake. He's a bit of a rake, is Winston. So that's two subjects which will keep me busy for quite a while. Thank you very much. I watched one of these televangelists sort of claiming to. I will pass on congratulations to Vicky, claiming to rebuke COVID-19 and going through all this very, very odd prayer and ritual, and at the end of it all saying, "It is now gone. It is no more. You've been rebuked." And I was listening to the language that he was using, and he was actually using language that hinted at something that, although it is scriptural, but the understanding of it is not what I think he thinks it means. And that's to do with being adopted by Christ. And that means that we partake in his divinity. Now, this guy was sort of usurping the place of God. He wasn't asking God to rebuke the COVID-19. He was doing it himself. And I mean, I've been with exorcists, full-time, full-blown professional. This is all they do, exorcists. And exorcists don't do that. It's always in the name of God, that they rebuke whoever it is or whatever it is. So I was kind of weirded out by that. So I looked into it, and there are some not so fringe Christian denominations that have this belief of that they actually become divine. And I'm not thinking about the Mormons who, is it the Mormons? Yes, I think it's the Mormons who believe that they will become a god of their own solar system, but that in some way they are now really, truly divine, that they will live for hundreds of years, and that they will never become ill. And if that is a denominational thing, and that is a denominational belief, then it could be that some of these people who are going around not wearing masks, not bothering with social distancing, wanting to gather in vast numbers within their churches, maybe that's their belief. A bit like the snake handlers, and they dance about, and they believe that their faith will protect them from being bitten, or at least if not being bitten, then from the poison if they do get bit. Answers on a postcard as to what we would think God would think about that. Do not put the Lord your God to the test. So what are you doing if you go and grab a bunch of poisonous snakes and start dancing about in a locked room so the snakes can't escape? And you think it's a kind of macho, I don't know, thing to do. Do you think God's going to protect them from the power of the snake? Well, I don't think so. But it's been proven time and time again, because they've been bitten and quite a few have died. So, yeah, crazy. So Vern is in the room on the other side, eating up all my bandwidth. No, it's not. I'm uploading, he is downloading, so there should be no interference. And, I just received a text. Oh, this is from Paula. A field guide to bad predatory theology. A field guide. There's plenty of bad theology going around, and you can find it in every single denomination. So it's not owned by just a few people in a few places. It's all around the world. Every heresy that's ever been proclaimed from the early church years, after the time of Jesus' resurrection and ascension, is all still here. It may have a different name, but there are those people who claim that they are only the only ones who are in full possession of the knowledge of who Jesus is, and we know his name and nobody else does. We have the name of God and nobody else does. Gnosticism. They wouldn't call it that nowadays. We have Arianism. We have people on all sides of the spectrum. I believe in Jesus, but he was just a good guy. He wasn't God. The other end of the spectrum, I believe Jesus, but he was really a ghost, which is kind of bordering in on Jesus was an alien. How do we know this? Well, the ascension. They were there. The mothership came down, there was smoke all over the place, and then they had to look up to see him disappear. It's so obvious. Can I get my eyes wide enough? It's so obvious. Yeah, it is. One thing I don't get is with the proliferation of high definition cameras almost in everybody's hand nowadays in the world, that we haven't gotten some really good clear footage of UFOs, or better still, and my favorite, Bigfoot. I mean, I love the advert on TV. Is it the car insurance one, or just an insurance one, where nobody's interested in taking photos of Bigfoot anymore? And what's he called? She called him Bigfoot. He said, Bigfoot, my name is, I can't remember his name now, but it's really, really funny, and it's kind of weird. God said that when people stop believing in him, they will just follow a lie. They will just, and it was G.K. Chesterton who said, when people stop believing in God, it's not that they believe in nothing, they'll believe in anything. And so we have a whole raft of things. I think we are living in a time which is so similar to the time of the apostles, where there's multiple gods through multiple religions. Then there's the philosophies that people espouse, and we have a great number of YouTubers who are brilliant minds, who dissect everything to the nth degree. And it makes you wonder how they actually live their lives. Some people are quite militant against religions, or mostly Christianity. Some of it's really interesting stuff. Some of it's to do with how Christians really don't live like Christians, and the experience of Christians, which really is our fault. Some things to do with the entertainment side of Christianity. Entertainment as an apologetic. So Christian movies, which are just so awful. Christian music, which has very little to do with Christianity in it. But it just apes, which means copies, all the various worldly genres. So there's Christian country, there's Christian rap, I don't think that was rap, so I will edit that out. And Christian everything, Christian heavy metal, Christian death metal. It's just no, and it's not like lyrically they're any good, but it is a massive business. And it's controlled by the same major record companies that control the world of the rest of the music, which means, and it's tightly controlled. How many bands have you ever heard of nowadays? It's either a kind of boy group. So I'm not saying band, I mean people who actually play their instruments. It's either a group of males or a group of females or solo artists. And when's the last time you saw an ugly singer? They're all drop dead gorgeous or handsome hunks, because it's the image that sells, not the talent. It's not their musical talent. It's really, really interesting and striking. When I look back to the 70s, I'm trying to think of the Pogues. If you want, this was a popular band. They're Irish. But if you want to sort of contrast musical skill versus how they present themselves, then the Pogues, just look them up. Hank Hill. Is that Hank Hill from the cartoon? You're not making Christian music better, you're making rock music worse. I like that. Yes. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Is it maybe, I try and kid myself sometimes thinking that the Christian music world is so dire, in the same way that, say, in the 18th century, the world of hymns might have seemed dire because everybody was writing hymns. And we don't think that because we got the distillation, the ones that have passed the test of time. But, I mean, are people going to be singing I Can Only Imagine in 10 years' time? Certainly not 100, if we're still here. But we will be singing How Great Thou Art. Now look, just as a kind of juxtaposition there, I can only imagine how great thou art. It just tells you who the subjects are, doesn't it? And that is one of the major differences in how contemporary Christian music's written. It's done from an almost I, me, my perspective, and I know some artists do a really, really good job of glorifying God and his attributes. But you've got to wade through a whole lot of Christian ballads to get there. And yeah, I don't know. And I like what I like. If there's something I like, then I like it. But it doesn't mean to say I would bring it into church. And so you could say I'm picky. Well, thank you very much. I would choose the word discerning. But however it is, we all have our favourites. And there are other things as well. The songs that are played on the radio, they're certainly not designed, that's not the word, arranged in a fashion that makes them congregational. Because you don't have a verse, chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus thing. You'll have a verse, and maybe a bridge, and maybe a second verse, which then goes to another bridge with different words that goes into a chorus. And then you may repeat the chorus again, and then you may go back to the first verse and then go to the chorus without the bridge, and then repeat, repeat, repeat. And how easy is that? No, it isn't. And then there's the vocal range that's often required. Most people have a 3-octave range, but you'll find in most popular hymns, it's an octave and a half maybe, and there are no great leaps. There are hymns that aren't like that, where you really are in the stratosphere. And it's kind of notable. My granddad told me, who was a church organist, that every edition of the Methodist hymnal, and this is going back to the 1930s, every new edition, the key was dropped. So you were singing slightly lower each time. So, and he said it was because people were becoming more lazy. Whether that's true, I don't know. But it certainly is the case that a lot of this contemporary stuff is pretty much unsingable. Because you'd be going da 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 instead of going da 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 da, and people will just drop their voices, which I'd actually like to hear for the comedic value. That's all. Hey, it's Natalie on. Congrats, Natalie. Hope everything's going well. Yes. Natalie just had a baby boy, and it's kind of cute. It's nice to have some good news amidst all this tragedy that's going on. Yeah. This is kind of escapist for me when I think about it, because when I do think about what's going on, I get a really heavy heart, and think about all the struggles that people have, personal struggles of lack of work, lack of income, paying bills, etc., etc., etc. Those who are ill and are struggling with their health, and the people who are in hospital struggling as well. Then those who are working in difficult situations and who must be exhausted, and those who just see illness over and over and over again. My heart, my prayers go out to them. And thank you for those who are providing essential services and just keep turning up. If I had a hat, I'd take it off for you. How are you and Corey and little Gavin David? What will you be calling him day to day? Yes, Gavin David. Well, I suppose at this age you could call him anything really, can't you? Or am I just showing my complete ignorance of babies? Well, you can just make noises, isn't it? This is what men do, isn't it? For a baby. When we grow up, we don't make those noises anymore. Who am I kidding? We still make those noises. So let me think about when I will be next on. So it's what day today? Tuesday. I think I'll try and be on Thursday. Now I've got things running from this other computer system. I don't have to pack anything up and then set it all up again. So it makes it a lot easier for me. So yes, Thursday I will try for 10 o'clock. If I don't, I'll try and make sure that both Facebook and YouTube get to know. But I can't think I've got anything on. I've just checked my calendar. Famous last words. Yeah, I like that, Paula. Bad theology. Ooh, no, that could be the stuff of a million different videos. Calendar. Dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum. Nope. It seems up to now that I have a free morning. So, oh, my t-shirt. I was normal 3 Dobermans ago. So yeah, I mean, it's a complete lie, isn't it? I was normal. Was there ever a time? I was normal until I was dropped as a baby. Somebody just reminding me. Thank you. So, yes, what was I saying? Yes, I was normal 3 Dobermans ago. It all started going downhill with Toby. It was only a part Doberman. With Barney, he did a good job, and Winston has finished me off. So this is about as good as it gets now. It is as good as it gets because things will go worse. Yes, definitely. I'm blaming it on the Dobermans, and I'm never going to change from that. Yeah, this is it. This is me. So yes, Thursday, 10 a.m. Any updates? I'll remind you about the getting candles for Sunday, so to light at the end of the service, it being Pentecost. If you are late, hi Karen, good to see you. You'll be able to watch this and see what I'm talking about. Any kind of candle, whether it's electric, a real thing, just make sure you can light it safely. I don't want you to have a laptop on one knee and a wobbly candle on the other and whoosh. What else is going on? We've got a vestry meeting tonight at 7 p.m. We'll be using Jay's system, GoToMeeting. Please keep the vestry in your prayers. There's obviously not much on the agenda. We seem to be doing okay. Most people bless you for keeping up with your pledges. That's a marvelous, marvelous thing. So thank you so much. We really do appreciate it that we're able to meet all our financial obligations. some interesting things to be mentioned tonight. And once they're passed, we'll be able to let you know. Excuse me. Some good things. What else? I really can't think of anything more. So thank you for the input to do with doing other videos. So that's what I'll do. Talk about why those who think this pandemic has been brought on by God as a kind of punishment are incorrect. Speak about what these kind of things mean to us as Christians. And is there a lesson? Of course there is. There's always a lesson. And then I could do the Sermon on the Mount. Yes. 2-hour videos for, I don't know, a couple of years. Thank you, Kit. People will love you for it. No, it should be, I'll try and keep it on the same basis as I did with the Lord's Prayer. Nothing more than 15 minutes. I actually said originally I was trying to do 10-minute videos. I think I only got once under 10 minutes. So they were around about 12 to, I think, 14 and a half maybe was the longest. Yeah, I'm sorry, Bill. There was something I had to go and do this morning, and I only found out last night, so it was a very short notice. But I will be on Thursday, God willing, at 10 a.m. So it's this coming Thursday. Okay, Kit, don't tempt me. And Bill as well. My unabridged versions are me going, well, that's wrong. You can ask Vern this. I do talk to myself a lot. But I blame the dogs on that. It's the dog's fault. And it's especially Winston's fault, because he's always whispering in my ears. So I just reply. I will watch every minute of your 2-hour for 2 years videos on the Sermon on the Mount. Don't challenge me. Righty, well, I'm going to sign off now. I'm sorry you arrived late, Bill, but it's just me waffling, drinking green ginger tea, and I've not been drinking much of it. What does it say? Sagittarius, November 22nd, December 21. Enthusiasm, optimism, and a desire to enjoy life to the fullest describes Sagittarius. They are honest, dependable, generous, and sincere. Ambitious by nature. They enjoy adventure, exploration, and travel. Strongly idealistic, with a passion for justice. Yes, I would agree with that. But again, it's like reading your horoscope. It's going to apply to a good number of people. Alrighty. It is... Yeah, there's no way I can prove that it's not tea, but it is tea. It's too early. I know it's 5 o'clock somewhere, but no, it's too early. This is tea. And there you go. Well, thank you for spending time with me. I've enjoyed it. Please stay safe. Keep an eye out on what's going on in society and whatever news it is. If you hear of any one of our members struggling in some way, please do let me know. I will do what I can to help. And I know already that you all are helping people one way or another. And thank you so much. So until Thursday, God bless and see you later. And this is where I have to press things twice.